Hey, what's up, everyone? My name's Lionel, and I'm your host for LT Productions. You are watching I Watch You Watch. We are covering Beyond the Gates. This is Season 1, Week 6. I appreciate everyone for coming to my channel. Thank you for stopping by. Please support by liking this video. You can share it, and you can also leave your comments below. Subscribe if you are new to this channel, and put your notifications button on. Now let's get into this week. As you guys know, that I just do weekly reviews. This week was another, I think last week, it wasn't action-filled, but there was a lot of story points that were being brought out. It was a little bit less this week, but still pretty good. I think towards the end of the week was a lot more, suspenseful-like in a way, because we started learning some type of story plots, but we're gonna get into that in just a few minutes. All right, so Monday, we know that Kat and Eva faced off, and I think kind of Eva won this part. You know, while you're sitting up here trying to bust me out, all I am is just trying to work through whatever I got going on and to survive and to keep my job and to just leave me alone, basically, was the conversation. Again, we've been saying this for weeks. Kat, you are not wrong. It's your approach, and you look crazy, and you seem very nasty with it all. That's the thing, you got this arrogance about yourself, even in trying to make her look a certain way that makes you look like the villain in this whole situation. I think you got to think about more ways of tripping her up. I mean, I would have at least now you can't. I would have been trying to get friendly with her, or get someone that you know that could be friendly with her to get some more information out of her. That would have been a little bit more logical than the way that you want to go, because you look crazy in front of other people. Even though I think you get that instinct from your mom, because your mom can tell what's going on, and that's probably a part of her psychiatrist type of way of dealing with things, or she just can spot issues and all that. Maybe that's it. I don't know. But Kat, it's just the wrong move. Find something else in order to get her. Let's see. So Bill, he goes behind Naomi's back and he invites the old employees back and is doing things to undermine Naomi to get them to back off from the lawsuit. Towards the end of the episode, it looks like he has been successful with that. And it looks like in the next episode, they're going to be trying to tell Naomi that we don't really want all of that. He's offering us a settlement, but we'll get into that in a few minutes. Andre, he avoids Ashley. And Ashley's not having it, and she wants to know, what is the deal with you ghosting me like that? That was the basis of the episode. We found out that Andre's contract with the hospital has been extended because they liked the little feature that he did with Derek, and I think whatever he put, and also the event that Nicole got honored at was another thing, and they want him to do another project, do a documentary on the hospital. So when Andre was about ready to leave, because his project was up, now it's been extended. So maybe he'll be putting his roots and growing out his branches around here. Who knows? Danny has figured out a way of how she's going to help Chelsea out with her brand that she's coming out with the bags and all that good stuff. She talks with Nicole first about it, and Nicole was like, "Are you sure? You know, do you think Chelsea really wants you that involved in her thing?" And she's like, I would be brilliant. I could really help her do this and push that. Well, later on, she talks with Chelsea, and Chelsea is not really seeing that. And she just really feels like, Danny, you need to back off. So they have this argument, and then Chelsea runs out. Vanessa and Joey, they're getting more comfortable with each other, and Joey's telling her lies, but she don't know that. You could tell that they have amazing chemistry. Let me just say that much. But anyways, he's telling other stuff in regards to the mother and all that, and Vanessa's really falling for that at this point. Like, all of this just to rent a house or to get a house. Veronica, I think you like the attention, and we'll leave it at that for this episode. So Naomi and the ladies meet up, and the ladies say that they want to drop the lawsuit. They want to settle because they don't want all the backlash and all that could be detrimental to your careers. Right now, you don't have nothing. So Bill said that they'll give him a payment, and then Naomi said, thank God I'm your lawyer. He didn't even give you a certain amount, but all of a sudden he said that he's willing to settle with you guys for somebody that's squeaky clean. So Naomi pleads with them, look, your case has merit, and my father knows that. And I need to know if you trust me and are you with me in this? Because we can get the victory that you want, or at least going to at least try. It's like they were cowering down because they thought that possibly they're just going to make more trouble. 3 people got fired from the same office to uplift the woman who is now married to the boss that he was sleeping with the whole time, had an affair with at that. It's not even like Bill was single. No, he had an affair and then ended up marrying her, and she got the position. No. So they ended up saying, we're going to be with you. Chelsea apologizes, and Chelsea says, just please let me just do my thing. Danny understands and said, yep, you should do your own thing. Danny was feeling, as far as even her lashing out because of Chelsea not agreeing with her being a part of it, it felt like how she felt Bill did to her. Bill got rid of her and replaced her with Haley. And Chelsea said, that's not it. I mean, I'm with Kat, but she's not my manager. We're actually partners in this whole situation. That's not what this was, or is supposed to be. And she says, I get it. You're setting me free because I have been trying to live vicariously through you and all this good stuff, but I understand the message. I get it. All right, so I think this was at one of the bars. Jacob and Derek, they talk a little bit about certain things. Derek's looking at this magazine, that article that Andre did do about him. He feels like he looks awkward. Yes, you're awkward because you're not camera ready. I'm not saying that the camera doesn't love you, but you do. It's not your forte as far as being in the front like that. They talk a little bit about Andre, and Derek was kind of leading on that probably there's something that Andre wants from him, and it's Ashley. And Jacob's like, you think that that's what he's about? Like, I don't know, but I shall see. So later on, I know that Andre and Derek do meet up still at the same bar. They talk for a few minutes, and then we find out a little bit later, Derek has invited Andre over. So I think it's a way to kind of get to know him and see what his motives are and all that good stuff. Who knows? Ashley has it out with Andre saying, stop ghosting me and making this weird. You try to kiss me, we said that it's never going to happen, so don't do that. And it just seems like Ashley's in this place of, I still need you around. I need my eye candy around. And somebody I think that I never gave a possibility to, that you finally have sparked my interest. Shanice is back. She thinks that she is about to be famous. She's going to be the head person, a part of this documentary, and she's also being the gossiper that we needed these last couple weeks, because I needed to see you around when Leslie was around. That's just my personal preference, but hey. Bill and Haley, they meet up, and basically she's down in the dumps yet again. She's at the country club, and she was supposed to do doubles, which is a tennis type match situation, and she's been replaced. She found out what was going on, and basically they're Team Danny. So yet again, you're trying to be accepted into a place that did not ask for you. And I don't know what you think is supposed to happen. Y'all just think that the Duprees are just handling everything, and it's just time to bring them down a notch or two. It's just like, I don't know. You're trying to be welcomed into a society and to into a society that is not there to welcome you. Sorry. Like, there's nothing else that you want to do with your life. You married up. You found this guy that you had to sleep with while married. And now you want all the benefits of that. Okay. So later on, after Andre agrees to Ashley, we're not going to we'll be cool with one another. They shake hands, and you can see that there is some electricity between them. Shanice is hearing all that, and then she goes up to Ashley saying, you got it bad for this guy. And we see it. She said, look, whenever you decide to give Andre a chance, send the fireman to me. So, okay. In the office, Naomi goes and visits Bill and basically tells him that the game's still on. You thought that you were going to undermine me, and it did not work. Nice try, though. Chelsea is at Orphe Jean's, and she's talking with someone on the phone. I think it's Kat, but she starts mentioning her monster of a stepmother, which is Haley. Haley comes in, they have a little talk. Chelsea's really ripping into her as to who she is, Haley is to her, and like, nobody's supposed to warm up to you after what you did. You tore up a family, blah, 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 blah. And Haley was like, oh, well, what about what your mom has done to me? The pain that she's caused me. And Chelsea's like, what are you talking about? Well, the stuff that she's doing around here, I mean, I had to deal with the punch. I had to deal with the gun coming out. She even broke into our house. And Chelsea said, well, if that did happen, it's the result of what you caused. And now you're just reaping the benefits. And basically Haley's saying, you know, your mother needs help and all this stuff. And she's saying that she don't understand why you're just taking her side blindly. And Chelsea was like, look, if you had a mother, Chelsea instantly regretted it and said, no, I shouldn't have really said that. However, you know, stop all that. Yeah. The conversation ends by Haley saying, you need to get your mothers to go. I think so too. Danny's basically like a walking, I don't know how to say it, doctor's patient. People are trying to help her out without just telling her, you need to get into therapy. Even though, I mean, even Nicole is not saying go directly to therapy, but giving her other outlets, because you know that this girl hasn't even come to the place of acknowledging that she needs help. She's too busy blaming other people for why she is the way that she is. So at the bar, after talking with Derek, Jacob sees Malone. Malone goes up to him, and Jacob goes up to him and says, you know, I figured out what you got going on, and my dad got to you, and now that you're treating me nice and all that stuff. Malone wasn't really having it, and he was denying it all and just walked away. Bill calls Danny and says, I need to see you. So she gets off the phone, and in a hurry she runs upstairs so she can get ready for him to come. I said, Lord, Danny. So Bill gets there or arrives, and they go down memory lane. Danny pulls out her photo album and all that. Bill wants to see what she wants to do with a Rehoboth home that they have, which I think is in the Northeast somewhere, even though they're in the Northeast too, so never mind. They start talking about different things that they've been through as far as joyous memories. Bill tells Danny about the lawsuit. Bill thought that Danny was putting Naomi up to it. But she said no. But when she found out about the lawsuit, she started busting out laughing. And Bill was like, why are you laughing? And she said, you know what? I'm really proud of her that she's not backing down. And then one thing leads to another, and Danny ends up kissing Bill, thinking that Bill has come to his senses and wants to be back with her. Why you want that? That's too crazy. That's too codependent. And I think you need to really deal with that. And, you know, I was okay with Danny and Andre being together, but is this just another codependency relationship? You're just getting benefits as far as sex, but he's allowing you to use you, but could things take a left in the future in regards to this now codependent relationship where you call at any moment and it's not even all the time that you want sex? You're using this person to try to clear your mind and to forget about Bill. And he does come over, Andre does, but that's a little bit later. Andre does have dinner and gets to know Ashley and Derek on a different level. You can really see that they got a lot of things in common. You would have thought that there were some things between Ashley and Andre, but it looks like they are really comfortable with each other and all that good stuff. So I'm just really trying to figure out why Andre's the interloper here, but maybe we'll find out later in regards to this. Let's see. Wednesday. Bill admits why he is really there to see Danny. And he said, you know, it's basically about the property and also about leaving Haley alone. Let her be a part of the country club and all that stuff. And Danny said, no, I didn't put them up to that. and she's gonna get whatever she gets. I thought you were here to say that you had come to your senses. Da 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 da. And Bill said no. She says, I'm in your blood. And Bill said, I got a blood transfusion. I said, oh, that was a good one. I like that one. Of course, I already told you Danny and Andre, they did have sex and all that good stuff. Jacob's outside the bar and he sees Joey and Malone in the alley. Malone is taking an envelope from Joey. He later on tells his dad about it. His dad ends up saying that Joey is a CA, a criminal investigator. Basically, he's working for the police, which I believe is a lie in regards to this, because Joey's only demonstrated that he's this villain and all that good stuff. Danny gives the deed to Bill. I wrote it down as the scenes were. Maybe I should have grouped it all together. I do apologize. I don't believe nothing that Captain Elon is saying. So, Jacob, keep your antennas up about this whole situation. So Haley had came by the office looking for Bill. He wasn't there, and Caroline, the other partner, was not really apt to tell her what's going on. But then she finds out about that the lawsuit is still going on and that he is visiting Danny right now. So when Bill finally gets back to the office, I think it was, Haley was there and she confronted him about the lawsuit was still on. And Danny, why were you there to see her? He gives his whole explanation and she's accepted that he's moved on. And Haley's like, you told her many times. Why is she accepting it now? Bill says, I don't know, but that's what she says. Da, 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 da. Vernon and they go by the bar too, where Naomi is. Naomi has now included Vernon in on what's happening with Bill and this lawsuit, and Vernon says, I think you need to play softball with Bill. And Naomi's like, I don't understand why you would want me to do this. You know, it's just not, we don't want it to be in the publicity yet again with all of this stuff. You know, just trust me on that. Elon and Malone, they talk and warns him, you need to be a lot more careful. This is the second time that my son has caught Joey in a compromising position, and now with you. And you need to stop all this, da 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 da. So obviously Elon is lying. Yeah, and Vernon, he's worried about retaliation from Naomi. Is it then? Or no? Oh, sorry. Okay, Jacob and Naomi, they do meet up with each other and they're telling each other about each other's problems and all that good stuff. She says, you know, Granddad is worried about retaliation. They want to know what in the world does this guy have so much power over him about. Anita and Vernon says, you know, we cannot let Bill pull the trigger. He has a lot of power and all that good stuff. Obviously, there's a lot of secrets within the Dupree family that Bill can actually do since he was their lawyer and knows a lot of stuff that he helped get them out of. Okay. Randy has some questions for Doug. That's Doug's friend. As to why you want to still hang around Joey and all that stuff. You know, you really need to cut your losses. Right now, you are really in the hole. Randy does talk with Joey too, and it's basically like it's time for him to start paying up and all that good stuff. Nicole ends up crashing a business meeting between Joey and Vanessa. I thought her name was Veronica, but oh well. Veronica is really becoming smitten. They talk a little bit. Vanessa is bored with her marriage. She loves Doug, but not in love with Doug. And Nicole's like, why don't you just leave them instead of just being unhappy? Because it looks like you are toting along the line of being with this dangerous guy and all that stuff. Those are all rumors, and I never said that I want anything to do with them. And Nicole was like, you're my best friend. I know you. And I know that this is what you want. That this is probably the route that you're going. But I need you to just be careful. Blah, blah, blah. So since the lawsuit is still on Bill and Naomi, they go head to head because he had finally made a settlement plan, and there's no real guarantee that it was like $1 million each. Also, they could have their jobs back, but there was no ironclad that they would keep them. Basically, they could hire them and they'd probably fire them the next day. So I think it would benefit you more to just go through the law in regards to this, because he's just trying to make this go away and not really deal with the craziness that goes on in dysfunction that goes on in his office. So while they are arguing, Bill all of a sudden start getting some type of slurred speech, and his hand becomes numb. I thought it was a stroke, but she does say in the next episode that it was like heart attack. Y'all can let me know, because I thought if you're going numb that was something that could have been dealt as a stroke. So do you think something in the future, because nothing this week, later on we find out he says that he's okay and all that, you think later on he's going to have a stroke? Probably something else as far as a bigger confrontation with someone. So that'll be interesting to see if that does happen. But Nicole kind of got into daughter mode to try to help out Bill in that situation. But we're still going ahead with this lawsuit, which is good. Later on, Nicole meets up with Ted. They were going to have dinner out, but then Nicole just got takeout because Ted said that he was too tired. We get this flashback of Ted seeing Nicole kind of obsessed with her patient, Sheila, which is really, or is it Sheila? Sherry, or whatever. And she's not understanding how this person, out of one conversation, was able to be talked off the ledge, and she's doing better, and da-da-da-da-da. And Ted's like, you're going to worry yourself. And he kind of distracts her by saying, let's go have sex. They have sex, and that kind of changes the mood. And of course, we get in the flashbacks of him being with Leslie as she is threatening to expose a secret. My only thing is this. They keep mentioning when Ted and Nicole met each other. Is there some significance even with him meeting Leslie? Because that's where we keep going to, but nobody's really mentioning how Ted and Leslie got together. Hopefully we get that pretty soon. Of course, we know that they're going to move forward with an event at the country club instead of going to Maui. Ted was suggesting that they do. So, and Eva's the one that really encouraged all that to happen. So, from Ted, because Nicole is talking about Vanessa. Vanessa is involving herself with Joey and getting this house for his mom. And Ted said, "Are you sure?" And she said, "Yeah." Well, Joey's mother is gone. She done passed away. And she's like, "What do you mean?" Well, Joey's mom had passed away over a year ago. She was on the operating table, and the surgery didn't go well. And he ended up losing. So then Nicole said, "Look, I got to warn her now." She tried to call her, and she is going to run down to go find her. Meanwhile, Veronica and Diego, they hook up again. Diego, I think, is falling for, I said Veronica, Vanessa. Vanessa. I really think that. Because he really wants Vanessa to choose him over anyone in specifics in the Joey situation. But she says she's going to do what she wants. So she takes him up on his offer, and they have sex in the closet. By the time Nicole gets there, she's able to tell Vanessa about Joey. And then Nicole says, it's still your choice or whatever, but at least you gotta have all the facts. Joey shows up and says, "Yeah, I was not truthful about about my mother and all that. The house is for me." And somehow she was duped in to what he was saying, which didn't make any sense to me. But yeah, Andre begins his interviews at the hospital. Shanice is saying this thing. Derek is still kind of just not really good at this interview thing. Ashley steps in, but they're kind of like making Ashley the star. And Ashley, you just got here. Like, why are y'all putting all your eggs in one basket? It's a little bit interesting in how they treat Ashley around there. And I don't dislike Ashley. It's just like, okay, there's no other doctors around or nurses around. Chelsea has a change of heart with her mom about doing the charity thing. She said that she will walk the charity thing because Danny was trying to find someone to replace Chelsea. And she shows her their handbag, the prototype, and Danny loves it. And she said that she will walk the stage if she could be carrying her handbag. So she agreed to it. And everything's pretty well. It's kind of a good send off from Chelsea from the modeling world into being a businesswoman. Yeah, that was about it for this week. I think next week is going to be a little bit, I don't want to say better, but we're going to get into some more things next week. But y'all can tell me what you thought of this week. I thought it was cool just to see some stories move. Still not totally into the Ashley, Derek, and Andre thing. It just doesn't make too much sense. And it doesn't make sense that Andre wants to still have sex with Danny, but you too busy trying to really get it on with Ashley. So it's a little bit weird. That's all I do have. Like this video, share, subscribe, and until next week, peace.